Johnny Cash. I hear the train a-comin', it's rollin' around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on, but that train keeps rollin' on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Hey! When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. All right, Dave. There's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming, I know I can't be free. But those people keep moving, and that's what tortures me. One more time, Dave. Prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. All right, how's everybody doing out there this afternoon? Good, good. Well, we are just so pleased to have you here with us, and we hope that you feel right at home. The songs we're going to be doing for you today, I've been doing for the last number of years, but if you like the songs, well, then they're all just like brand new to us, and we hope that you hear something today that you feel is being sung just for you, because that's how we feel them. Now, it was back in 1955 in Memphis, Tennessee, when Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two got our start. The Tennessee Two were Marshall Grant on the upright bass and Luther Perkins picking like only he could on the guitar. And when we first walked into Sun Records there in Memphis, Tennessee, the man who owned the place at the time, a guy by the name of Mr. Sam Phillips, well, he wasn't too impressed with me. Mostly because all I wanted to do was record gospel music. He said he couldn't sell gospel music anymore. He said if we were serious about being in the music business, we were going to have to go back and write him something else. So me and the boys got to putting some music to a poem I had written when I was coming back from being in the Air Force in Germany. I used to like to say I spent 20 years in the Air Force from 1950 to 1954. And I thought the song might do all right because I know it wasn't the first person to ever miss home. Here's that first song we recorded on Sun Records in 1955. It's called Hey Porter. 1, 2. Hey Porter, would you tell me the time? How much longer will it be till we cross that Mason-Dixon line? At daylight, would you tell that engineer to slow it down? Or better still, just stop the train, 'cause I want to look around. Hey porter, what time did you say? How much longer will it be till I can see the light of day? When we hit Dixie, would you tell that engineer to ring his bell and ask everybody that ain't asleep to stand right up and yell? All right, Dave. Hey porter, it's getting light outside. This old train is puffing smoke and I have to strain my eyes. But ask that engineer if he could blow his whistle, please. 'Cause I smell frost on cotton leaves and I feel that southern breeze. Hey porter, please get my bags for me. I need nobody to tell me now that we're in Tennessee. Go tell that engineer to make that lonesome whistle scream. We're not so far from home, take it easy on the steam. One more time, Dave. Hey porter, please open up the door. When I stop this train, I'm gonna get off first, 'cause I can't wait no more. Tell that engineer, said thanks a lot and I didn't mind the fare. I'm gonna set my feet on southern soil, I breathe that southern air. Now, once me and the boys were finished recording that song, we were so excited you can't hardly believe it. And Sam Phillips, he gave us a test pressing of that song on 78. Y'all remember 78 records? Hope you didn't throw them away. They're worth an awful lot of money these days. But he gave us a test pressing of that on 78, and I took it to this DJ that I was working for at the time, a guy by the name of Bob Neal, who was Elvis Presley's first manager. I went to hand it to him to play, but I was so nervous, my hands were shaking so bad, I dropped that thing on the ground, shattered into a million pieces. And I was real upset because I thought that was the only one we had. So I went back to tell Mr. Phillips all about it, and he showed me a box of about 200 copies. Well, I guess I was pretty green in those days, but he also said we couldn't just record, we couldn't release one side of a record. If we wanted to put that song out, we were going to have to record something else to put on the other side. He said to go back and write him a real country weeper. So I went back and I was trying to write something, nothing was coming to mind. So I turned on the radio to my favorite radio station, and the DJ, Smiling Eddie Hill, introduced the next song, and he said, "This next song is about love and heartbreak, and it's going to make you cry, cry, cry." And I guess it's all the inspiration I needed. 1, 2, 1. Everybody knows where you go when the sun goes down. I think I only live to see the lights uptown. I wasted my time when I would try. 'Cause when the lights have lost their glow, you'll cry, cry, cry. Soon your sugar daddies will all be gone. You'll wake up some cold day and find you're alone. You'll call for me, but I'm gonna tell you bye, bye, bye. When I turn around and walk away, you'll cry, cry, cry. You're gonna cry, 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 and you'll cry alone. When everyone's forgotten and you're left on your own, you're gonna cry, 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 make that guitar cry. wait till you come in. You stay a little while and then you're gone again. Every question that I ask, I get a lie, lie, lie. For every lie you tell, you're gonna cry, cry, cry. When your fickle love gets old, no one will care for you. Then you'll come back to me for a little love that's true. I'll tell you no, and then you'll ask me why, why. When I remind you of all this, you'll cry, cry, cry. You're gonna cry, 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 and you'll want me then. It'll hurt when you think of the fool you've been. You're gonna cry, cry, cry. Yeah. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and slow it down a little for you. 1, 2, 1. At my door the leaves are falling. The cold wild wind will come. Sweethearts walk by together, but I still miss someone. I go out on a party and look for a little fun, but I find a darkened corner, but I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes. I see them everywhere. I miss those arms that held me when all the love was there. I wonder if she is sorry for leaving what we'd begun. There's someone for me somewhere, but I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes. I see them everywhere. I miss those arms that held me when all the love was there. I wonder if she is sorry for leaving what we'd begun. There's someone for me somewhere, but I still miss someone. Well, we slowed it down. Now we'll go ahead and speed it right back up. Hey, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones. Put taps on your toes and get gone. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. A little shoeshine boy, he never gets a low down, but he's got the dirtiest job in town, bending low at the people's feet on a windy corner of a dirty street. Well, I asked him while he shined my shoes, how do you keep from getting the blues? He grinned as he raised his little head up off a shoeshine rag, and then he said, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm When you get the blues, a jumpy rhythm makes it feel so fine. It can shake all the trouble from your worried mind. Get rhythm. When you get the blues, get that rhythm, boys. Get a rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get a rhythm. When you get the blues, get a rock and roll feeling in your bones, with taps on your toes and get gone, get a rhythm. When you get the blues. Well, I sat down to listen to the shoe shine boy, and I thought I was gonna jump for joy. Slapped on his shoe polish left and right. He took a shoe shine rag and he held it tight. He stopped once to wipe the sweat away. I said, "You mighty little boy to be working that away." He said, "I like it," with a big wide grin. Kept on a poppin' and he said again, "Get a rhythm." When you get the blues, come on, get a rhythm. When you get the blues, it only costs a dime, just a nickel a shoe. It does $1 million worth of good for you. Get rhythm. When you get the blues. All right. Do y'all like songs about cowboys? All right, good, because I wrote one or two of those. This next song is one that I wrote all the way back in 1957. At that point, I knew that I was leaving Sun Records in Memphis to go to Columbia Records in Nashville, and well, I thought this was a pretty darn good song, so I decided to hold it off and put it on my first album to come out on Columbia when I had no hand in naming. It is called The Fabulous Johnny Cash, and this song is called Don't Take Your Guns to Town. A young cowboy named Billy Joe grew restless on the farm. A boy filled with wanderlust who really meant no harm. He changed his clothes and shined his boots and combed his dark hair down. But his mother cried as he walked out, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town." He laughed and kissed his mom and said, "You're Billy Joe's a man. I can shoot as quick and straight as anybody can. But I wouldn't shoot without a cause, I'd gun nobody down." But she cried again as he rode away, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town." He sang the song as on he rode, his guns hung at his hips. He rode into a cattle town, a smile upon his lips. He stopped and walked into a bar and laid his money down. But his mother's words echoed again, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town." He drank his first strong liquor then to calm his shaking hand. Tried to tell himself at last he had become a man. A dusty cowpoke at his side began to laugh him down. But he heard again his mother's words, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town." Filled with rage, then Billy Joe reached for his gun to draw. But the stranger drew his gun and fired before he even saw. As Billy Joe fell to the floor, the crowd all gathered round and wondered at his final words, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town." He Well, a good old-fashioned cowboy song, and now just a good old-fashioned country boy song. Country boy ain't got no shoes. Country boy ain't got no blues. Well, you work all day and while you're wanting to play in the sun and the sand where the faces stand, but at the end of the day when your work is done, you ain't got nothing but fun. Country boy ain't got no bills. Country boy, you don't owe no bills. You get a wiggly worm and then you watch him squirm, and you put him on a hook and then you drop him in a brook, and if everything's gonna turn out right, you're gonna fry fish tonight. Country boy, you're lucky free. Country boy, I wish I was you and you was me. Play it, country boys. Country boy, you got work to do. Country boy, in the morning dew. You gotta cut the weeds, you gotta plant the seed. There's many a row you know you gotta hoe, but when it's quitting time and your work is through, there's a lot of life in you. Country boy, you got a shaggy dog. Country boy, up a holler log. Well, it comes in a run when you pick up your gun with a shell or two, and your dog and you, when you get your rabbit, you'll skin his hide. He's gonna be good fried. Country boy, you gotta learn to lose. Country boy, how I wish I was in your shoes. Country boy, how I wish I was in your shoes. All right, how about this amazing band behind me, huh? I'm gonna take this opportunity to introduce them all to you. Over here on the keys, we got Benny Cohn. Back there on the drums, Jack DiNicola. Right here on the big bass fiddle, that's Jeffrey Link. And over here on the electric guitar, we got Dave Brown. Now, how many of you out there remember the flood of 1937? See, you're laughing, but if you're laughing, that means somebody out there remembers the flood of 1937. Well, in 1937, the Mississippi River went over the bank and broke the levees, flooded the cotton land in northeast Arkansas. My daddy said he would stay with our house just as long as he could, but little by little, he watched the water rising over the front steps, and he said that once it had reached 5 feet high, we was going to have to leave. Well, we did leave, and 20 years later, I wrote this song. How high is the water, mama? 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 2 feet high and rising. We can make it to the road in a homemade boat, 'cause that's the only thing we got left that'll float. It's already over all the weed and oats, 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? She said it's 3 feet high and rising. Well, the hives are gone, I've lost my bees. The chickens are sleeping in the willow trees. Cows in the water up past their knees, 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 4 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 4 feet high and rising. Hey, come look through the window pane. The bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Looks like we'll be blessed with a little more rain. 4 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 5 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 5 feet high and rising. Well, the rails are washed out north of town. We gotta head for higher ground. We can't come back till the water goes down. 5 feet high and rising. Well, it's 5 feet high and rising. 10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed beneath the town hall lights. There were a few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. Now the scaffold is high and eternity is near. She stood in the crowd, shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. That song was made famous by Lefty Frizzell. Everybody remember Lefty Frizzell? Yeah, well, if you don't know him, you should go ahead and look him up. You want to talk about the epitome of country music, 3 chords and the truth. That was good old Lefty. This next song was actually written by my wife, June Carter, and a good friend of ours by the name of Merle Kilgore. And originally, June's sister, Anita Carter, recorded this song. I let her have it for a little while so she could make a hit out of it. And when it came my time to record the song, I kept having this dream about trumpets. But putting trumpets on a hillbilly song in 1963 was a pretty crazy idea. So I called the only guy I knew that was crazier than me, a guy by the name of Cowboy Jack Clement, who had engineered records for guys like Waylon Jennings, George Jones, and Charlie Pride. I brought him into the studio. I'd hired 2 trumpet players, had no idea what to tell him. Didn't take him but 5 minutes before Cowboy Jack had it sounding like it did on the record. And since we don't have a trumpet player up here, the trumpet line will be played by Mr. Benny Cohen. 1, 2, 3. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fire ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. All right. of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours beat. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire. All right. Let's keep it going for Benny Cohn on the keys. Now, have y'all heard of my daughter, Roseanne Cash? Yeah, she's a heck of a songwriter herself. She's won a number of Grammys, and she's a fantastic songwriter. Well, a number of years ago, she come up to me, and she was all excited about this song that she had found to put on her next album. She was most excited about it, she said, because it was in the public domain, which meant she wasn't going to have to pay royalties on it. And I thought, what song could she possibly be that excited about? I said, so what's the name of the song? She said, it's called Tennessee Flat Top Box. I said, that song ain't in the public domain because I wrote that song. So now you're going to owe me royalties. We got it worked out, but here's that song that Roseanne loves so much, Tennessee Flat Top Box, featuring Dave Brown on the guitar. In a little cabaret in a South Texas border town sat a boy in his guitar, and the people came from all around, and all the girls from there to Austin we're slipping away from home and putting jewelry in hock to take the trip to go and listen to the little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee Flat Top Box, and he would play. Well, he couldn't ride a wrangle, and he never cared to make a dime, but give him his guitar, and he'd be happy all the time. And all the girls from 9 to 90 were snapping fingers, tapping toes, and begging him don't stop, and hypnotized and fascinated by the little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee Flat Top Box, and he would play. Then one day he was gone, no one ever saw him round. He vanished like the breeze, and they forgot him in the little town. But all the girls still dreamed about him and hung around the cabaret until the doors were locked. And then one day on the hit parade was a little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee Flat Top Box, and he would play. keep it going for Dave Brown on the guitar. All right, so we've established you like songs about cowboys, you like songs about country boys. Do you like songs about trains? Well, good, because I wrote one or two of those as well. When I was growing up, the first place my family and I lived was in a place called Kingsland, Arkansas. We lived there until I was about 3 years old. It was during the Great Depression. My daddy was having a lot of trouble trying to find work, and we had train tracks to run behind our house. And almost every morning, my daddy would go out. He would lay down in those train tracks and wait for the train to pass over his head into the station and stop. Then he would hang on to the bottom of that train. He'd ride it to the next town or the next town or the next town. Sometimes he'd ride underneath the train. Sometimes he'd ride inside the boxcar. Sometimes ride on top. A lot of gentlemen were doing that in those days to try to find work. If you've ever heard the term riding the rods or riding the rails, well, that's where the terms come from. And sometimes my daddy would be gone for days at a time. We didn't know whether he was hurt or whether he'd found good work. And I don't know that I could ever remember being more happy as a little boy seeing my daddy come in that back door and knowing he was all right. But I think it was that train running behind the house that kept that train sound in my head and in my blood. And this is one of my favorite train songs made famous by Lonnie Donegan, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, this here's the story about the Rock Island Line. Well, the Rock Island Line, she runs down into New Orleans, you know. Well, there's a big toll gate down there, and, well, if you got certain things on board when you go through the toll gate, you ain't got to pay the man no toll. So the train driver, he pulled on up to the toll gate. The man hollered and asked him what all he had on board. He said, I got livestock, I got livestock, I got cows, I got pigs, I got sheep, I got mules, I got all livestock. They said, you all right, boy, you ain't got to pay no toll, you can go right on through. So the train driver, as he went on through that toll gate, well, he started picking up a little bit of speed. Started picking up a little bit of steam. So went on through that toll gate. He turned back to the man and said, well, I booed you. I got pig iron, I got pig iron, I got all pig iron. Well, the Rock Island Line, she's a mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride it like you find it. Get a ticket at the station for the Rock Island Line. What? Cloudy in the west and it looked like rain. Round the curve come a passenger train. Northbound train, the southbound track. It's alrighty leaving, but you won't be back. Well, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride like you find it. Get a ticket at the station for the Rock Island Line. Well, I may be right and I may be wrong, but you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Well, the engineer said before he died there were 2 more drinks that he'd like to try. The conductor said, what could they be? A cup of coffee and a cold glass of tea. Well, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride it like you find it. Get a ticket at the station for the Rock Island Line. Woo, is right. I had to spit those lyrics out faster than you can kiss a duck, you know what I mean? Yeah, so this next song, another one I wrote back in 1957. I wrote it while I was walking the streets of Memphis, Tennessee as the world's worst door-to-door appliance salesman for a place called Home Equipment Company out on Summer Avenue. And on almost every one of my lunch breaks, I used to go into this record store. I just loved it. It was down on Beale Street. And they ended up tearing that record store down. You know what they put up in its place? Parking lot. Most popular answers are Walmart, Starbucks, and McDonald's. Nope, they tore down that record store and they put up a statue of Elvis Presley. Now listen, I love Elvis, it's not that. It was an awfully nice record store to tear it down, put up a statue. But that record store and this next song share the same name, the home of the blues. Just around the corner there's heartache. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you'll find me at the home of the blues. I walk and cry while my heartbeat keeps time with the drag of my shoes. The sun never shines through this window of mine. It's dark at the home of the blues. Oh, but the place is filled with the sweetest memories. Memories so sweet that I cry. Dreams that I've had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna give up and lay down and die. So if you just lost your sweetheart and it seems there's no good way to choose, come along with me, misery loves company. You're welcome at the home of the blues. All right. Just around the corner there's heartache. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you'll find me at the home of the blues. Yeah, you're gonna find me at the home of the blues. All right, we're going to do a few more for you, and then we're going to take a little break. How about another good old-fashioned train song? You want another train song? All right. How about it, Jack? Well, they gave him his orders at Monroe, Virginia, saying, Steve, you're way behind time. This is not 38, this is old 97. Put her in the Spencer on time. Well, he turned around and said to his big greasy fireman, hey, shovel on a little more coal. And when we cross that white oak mountain, watch old 97 roll. Play it, Dave. Come on, Benny. Well, it's a mighty rough road from Lynchburg to Danville, in a line on a 3-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his air brake. See what a jump he made, 'cause he was going down the grade making 90 miles an hour. His whistle broke into a scream. He was found in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, scalded to death by the steam. Now all you ladies, you better take warning from this time on and learn. Never speak harsh words to your true loving husband. He may leave you and never return. keep it going for Dave Brown, Benny Cohn, and this amazing band up here, guys. Now, do we have any Bob Dylan fans out there today? All right, good. I don't mean to get your hopes up because we're not going to do a Bob Dylan song. If you didn't know, me and Bob, we've been good friends for a long time. We recorded an album together, and the first song on that album, Nashville Skyline, is called Girl from the North Country. I wrote the liner notes for that album as well. And Bob has always said this next song we're going to do for you is his favorite song of mine. Now, I don't know if that's because it kind of sounds like a Bob Dylan song, or if it's because we mentioned his home state in it. And if you don't know what that is, when we get there, I'll give you a little wink, so you watch this eye right here, all right? But this is Bob Dylan's favorite Johnny Cash song. 1, 2, 1. Now I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover of a clear blue sky. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it tore me up every time I heard her drawl, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream went back downstream, cavorting in Davenport, and I followed you, big river, when you called all guitar. Well, you took me to St. Louis later on down the river. Freighter says she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and then she went on down alone. Now won't you bet it down by Baton Rouge, River Queen, roll it on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough, dump my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than me. I'll play it again. Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. All right. Did you see the wink? Yeah. Bob Dylan, born Robert Zimmerman, was born in Hibbing, Minnesota. All right, we're going to do one more for you here, and this is a very personal song to me. As I said, when we first walked into Sun Records there in Memphis, Tennessee, it was me, Marshall Grant on the upright bass, Luther Perkins on the guitar, and we actually had a steel guitar player by the name of Red Kernodle. Well, Red was so nervous he couldn't tune his darn instrument, so he decided to leave. That's how we became Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two, even though not one of us is from Tennessee. But we didn't have a drummer because in those days, and I apologize for this, Jack, but in those days the Grand Ole Opry would not allow drummers on their stage there, and that's why we didn't have one. But I missed that percussive sound, you know, that come from a drummer. And so while we were in the studio, what I tried to do is I took a dollar bill and I wove it through the strings on my guitar and held down the strings and played it like this. That's what that sound is on all those Sun Records, just me doing that with this here guitar. But again, this is a real personal song to me. I wrote it in 1956 for my first wife, Vivian. It's called I Walk the Line. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each day is through. Yes, I'll admit that I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I walk the line. As sure as night is dark and day is light, I keep you on my mind both day and night. And happiness I've known proves that it's right. Because you're mine, I walk the line. You've got a way to keep me on your side. You give me cause for love that I can't hide. For you I know I'd even try to turn the tide. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Oh, I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Oh. Thank you very much. Enjoy the break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. This next song is by a dear friend of mine. Most of y'all know him as the author of children's books, but he also used to do cartoons for Playboy magazine. He's a great songwriter in his own right. This one's by Shel Silverstein. Well, my daddy left home when I was 3, and he didn't leave much to my ma and me. Just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that my daddy ever did was, before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought that it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from lots of folks. Seems I'd have to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd get red, and some guy laughed and I'd bust his head. I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard and my wits got keen. I roamed from town to town to hide my shame. But I made me a vow to the moon and the stars that I would search those honky-tonks and bars, kill that man that gave me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I just hit town and my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and have myself a brew at an old saloon on a street of mud. There at a table dealing studs sat that dirty mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from a worn-out picture that my mother had. I knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." Yeah, that's what I told him. Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes, and he went down, but to my surprise, come up with a knife and he cut off a piece of my ear. So I busted a chair right across his teeth. We crashed through the walls and into the street, kicking and a gouging in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I tell you, I fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. Well, I heard him laugh and then I heard him cuss, and he reached for his gun, but I pulled mine first. And he stood there looking at me, and I saw him smile. And he said, son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, well, he's gotta be tough. And I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I give you that name and I said goodbye. I knew you'd have to get tough or die. And it's that name that helped to make you strong. He said, now you just fought one hell of a fight, and I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now, and I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your guts and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm the son of a bitch that named you Sue. What can I do? What could I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun. I called him my pa and he called me his son, and I come away with a different point of view. And I think about him now and again, every time I try and every time I win. And if I ever have a son, I think I'm gonna name him Bill or George or any damn thing but Sue. I still hate that name. All right, now how many of you knew that that song was written by Shel Silverstein? All right, a couple of you. Yeah, I guess I assume everybody knows that. Most people don't. Now, if you didn't know, me and June, we live in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's just about 20 miles outside of Nashville. It's a nice house out there in the woods right on Old Hickory Lake. And over the years, we've had all sorts of different people out there to see us. And on one particular evening in 1969, we had what we'd call a good old-fashioned guitar pull. We'd have a bunch of our musician friends over, and we would try out new songs for each other. We'd pass the guitar around. On this particular evening, we had Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, Graham Nash, Chris Christopherson, and Shel Silverstein. For the very first time, Joni sang Both Sides Now, Graham sang Marrakesh Express, Bob sang Lay Lady Lay, and Chris sang Me and Bobby McGee. And Shel, he gave me a new poem, well, new lyrics, and June suggested that we take it with us to our next concert appearance, which is to be a live recording at San Quentin Prison. So at one point, I took out those lyrics, put them on a stand in front of me, and Carl Perkins and the boys in the band just made it up as they went along behind me. And that is how A Boy Named Sue was recorded for the first and only time, live at San Quentin Prison. This next song we recorded at a prison as well. This one we recorded at Folsom. 1, 2, 3. Early one morning while making the rounds, I took a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. I went right home and I went to bed. I slipped that loving 44 beneath my head. Got up next morning and I grabbed that gun, took a shot of cocaine and away I run. Made a good run, but I run too slow. They overtook me down in Juarez, Mexico. Laid in the hot joints, taking the pills. Getting walked to sheriff from Jericho Hill. He said, well, Ely, your name is not Jack Brown. You're the dirty hack who shot your woman down. Oh yes, my name is Willie Lee. If you've got a warrant, just read it to me. Shot her down because she made me sore. I thought it was her daddy, but she had 5 more. When I was arrested, I was dressed in black. They put me on the train and they took me back. Had no friend for to go my bail. They slapped my dried up carcass in the county jail. Early next morning about 9:30, I spied the sheriff coming down the line. Up Danny coughed as he cleared his throat. He said, come on, you dirty hack, into that district court. Into the courtroom my trial began, where I was handled by 12 honest men. Just before the jury started out, I saw that little judge commence to look about. In about 5 minutes in walked the man, holding the verdict in his right hand. The verdict read in the first degree. I hollered Lordy, Lordy, have mercy on me. The judge, he smiled as he picked up his pen. 99 years in the Folsom Pen. 99 years underneath that ground. I can't forget the day I shot that bad bitch down. Come on, you gotta listen unto me. Lay off that whiskey and let that cocaine be. This next song is by a fantastic songwriter and an even better friend. Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled in my closet, through my clothes, and found my cleanest dirty shirt. Then I washed my face and combed my hair and stumbled down the stairs to meet the day. I'd smoked my mind the night before with cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. So I lit my first, watched a small boy cussing at a can that he was kicking. Then I walked across the street and caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. Lord, it took me back to something that I lost somewhere, somehow, along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. There's something in a Sunday that makes a body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying that's half as lonesome as the sound of that sleeping city sidewalk and Sunday morning coming down. In the park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl that he was swinging, and stopped beside a Sunday school and listened to the songs they were singing. Then I headed down the road, and somewhere far away a lonely bell was a-ringing, and it echoed through the canyons like the disappearing dreams of yesterday. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned, 'cause there's something in a Sunday that makes a body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying that's half as lonesome as the sound of that sleeping city sidewalk and Sunday morning coming down. Thank you. That song was written by perhaps one of the greatest songwriters that country music has ever known, Mr. Chris Christopherson. I'm going to tell you a little about Chris, but before I do that, I'm going to let the boys in my band take a little break, go backstage, and rest a little bit, and I'm going to do a few songs for you by my lonesome. Now, Chris Christopherson was a Rhodes Scholar. He went to Oxford, and he was a helicopter pilot in the Army, and when I met him, he was a janitor at Columbia Records. He was trying desperately to be a songwriter, but there was a hard and fast rule at Columbia at the time. You couldn't just walk up to an artist and hand them a song or hand them a tape for a song. So Chris devised himself a plan. He hijacked a helicopter and flew it out to my house in Hendersonville and landed it on my lawn. Chris stepped out of that helicopter with a beer in one hand and a tape for Sunday Morning coming down in the other hand. I premiered that song on the Johnny Cash television show all the way back in 1971, and the producers at ABC, they weren't too pleased with some of the lyrics. They didn't want me to say, "Wishing Lord that I was stoned." They wanted me to say, "Wishing Lord that I was home." Doesn't quite have the same meaning to it. And Chris was a little nervous. He didn't know what I was going to do. And we were filming in front of a live studio audience, so we got that part of the show, and I looked up to where Chris was sitting up on the balcony there at the Ryman Auditorium. I sang it exactly the way he wrote it. I thought he was going to fall out of his chair. Now, as I said before, we walked into San Quentin in 1969 to record that album. We were at Folsom Prison in 1968. But a lot of people think those are the only concerts we ever did in prisons. In fact, me and the Tennessee Two, the first concert we ever did in a prison was all the way back in 1957, Huntsville State Prison in Texas. And went to San Quentin for the first time all the way back in 1958. While we were there, there was a young man in the front row of that show there at San Quentin in 58, a guy by the name of Merle Haggard. Well, when we were there, as me and the boys were leaving, this gentleman came up to me and, well, he said something to me that I just couldn't quite get out of my head. So as me and the boys got back on the bus and left, I decided to write a song about him. He said, "Would you give my love to Rose?" I found him by the railroad track this morning. I could see that he was nearly dead. I knelt down beside him and I listened just to hear the words that dying fella said. He said they let me out of prison out in Frisco. For 10 long years I paid for what I'd done. I was trying to get back to Louisiana just to see my Rose, get to know my son. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money, tell her buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy that daddy's so proud of him. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. Tell him I said thanks for waiting for me. Tell my boy to help his mom at home. Tell my Rose to try to find another, 'cause it ain't right that she should live alone. Mister, here's a bag with all my money. It won't last them long the way it goes. God bless you for finding me this morning. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money, tell him buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy that daddy's so proud of him. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. There were a number of years there where June and I were reading all these books, all these novels, really. Anything we could get our hands on about the war in Vietnam. And, well, the language that the troops would use in there was... Well, for instance, they talk about going along and they see one of the buddies get shot and fall and there was no time to grieve, you know, so they just say, drive on, don't mean nothing, when it meant everything, you know. So I decided to write this song. Well, I got a friend named Whiskey Sam. He was my boonie rat buddy for a year in Nam. He said, I think my country got a little off track. It took them 25 years to welcome me back. Well, it's better than not coming back at all. Many a good man I saw fall. And even now, every time I dream, I hear the men and the monkeys in the jungle scream. Drive on, it don't mean nothing. My children love me, but they don't understand. And I got a woman who knows her man. Drive on, it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Drive on. Well, I remember one night Tex and me, we rappelled in on a hot LZ. We had our 16s on rock and roll, but with all that fire I was scared and cold. We were crazy and we were wild, and I had seen the tiger smile. I spit in a bamboo viper's face, and I'd be dead, but by God's grace, drive on. It don't mean nothing. My children love me, but they don't understand. And I got a woman who knows her man. Drive on. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Drive on. It was a slow walk in a sad rain. Nobody tried to be John Wayne. I came home, but Tex did not, and I can't talk about the hit he got. Well, I got a little limp now when I walk, and I got a little tremolo when I talk. But my letter read from Whiskey Sam, you're a walking, talking miracle from Vietnam. Drive on. It don't mean nothing. My children love me, but they don't understand. And I got a woman who knows her man. Drive on. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Drive on. When I was a kid growing up in Arkansas, all I could think about when I was a little kid, I started picking cotton out there in the fields with my family. I started picking cotton about the time I was able to stand upright. But all I could think about all day was coming inside so I could listen to the radio. My mama saved up one year and bought us one of those big B battery radios out of Sears and Roebuck catalog. I loved it. I'd listen to all sorts of things on that, but mostly I'd listen to those Western radio shows that come out, and a lot of the Grand Ole Opry coming out of Nashville, Tennessee on that Ryman Auditorium stage. There was a lot of cowboy songs that were on the radio at that time, and I just thought there was something awful romantic about being a cowboy. So this is another good old-fashioned cowboy song. Back about 18 and 25, I left Tennessee very much alive. I never would have made it through the Arkansas mud if I hadn't been a-riding on the Tennessee stud. Had some trouble with my sweetheart's paw. One of her brothers was a bad outlaw. I wrote a letter to my Uncle Fudd, and I rode away on the Tennessee stud. Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve and he had the blood. Oh, there never was a hoss like the Tennessee stud. Rode right down into no man's land, across a river called the Rio Grande. Raced my hoss with a Spaniard's foal till I got me a skin full of silver and gold. Me and the gambler, we couldn't agree. We got in a fight over Tennessee. We pulled our guns and he fell with a thud, and I rode away on the Tennessee stud. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve and he had the blood. Oh, there never was a hoss like the Tennessee stud. Rode right back across Arkansas. I whooped her brother and I whooped her paw. I found that girl with the golden hair, and she was riding on the Tennessee mare. Pretty little baby on the cabin floor, little house colt playing round the door. I love the girl with the golden hair, and the Tennessee stud loves the Tennessee mare. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve and he had the blood. Oh, there never was a hoss like the Tennessee stud. No, there never was a hoss like the Tennessee stud. That was a Merle Travis song. I'm going to do one more for you and then bring the boys back on up here and finish out the show for you. You know, there were a lot of years there where I was dealing with the demons inside of me and my addictions and whatnot, and I thought that sometimes the light had dimmed so much that I didn't think I was ever going to find myself out of the darkness again. But something was there to help me through that darkness, and that person was June. And if you've ever dealt with mental health or any addiction, you know that not one person can save you. It's just not possible. But one person can give you the impetus to find the help that you need. And June was that for me. This is probably the most personal song I have ever written, and I wrote it for June. With the twilight colors falling and the evening laying shadows, hidden memories come stealing from my mind, and I feel my own heart beating out the simple joy of living, and I wonder how I ever was that kind. But the wild road I was rambling was always out there calling, and you said 100 times I should have died. But you reached down and touched me and lifted me up with you, so I believe it was a road I was meant to ride. I'm like a soldier getting over the war. I'm like a young man getting over his crazy days, like a bandit getting over his lawless ways. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm like a soldier getting over the war. There are nights that I don't remember, the pain that's been forgotten, and a lot of things I choose not to recall. There are faces that come to me in my darkest secret memories, faces that I wish would not come back at all. But in my dreams parade of lovers from the other times and places, there's not one that matters now, no matter who. I'm just thankful for the journey, that I've survived the battles, that my spoils of victory is you. I'm like a soldier getting over the war. I'm like a young man getting over his crazy days, like a bandit getting over his lawless ways. Every day gets better than the day before. I'm like a soldier getting over the war. Thank you. While my boys are getting back up here and getting settled in, do we have any veterans out there with us? Anyone who served? I hope everyone will join me in giving them a round of applause to everyone out there. I know there's a lot going on in the country right now, and a lot of people are happy about the way things are going, and some are not. But one of the most important things you can do is support our troops, because they're out there fighting to preserve the freedoms that we hold so dear here at home every day, whether it be abroad or here at home. And this next song is dedicated to all the veterans out there. And I think now, maybe more than ever, it's important to remember that those who do not learn their history are doomed to repeat it. Ira Hayes, Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Gather round me, people. There's a story I would tell about a brave young Indian who you should remember well. From the land of the Pima Indian, a proud and noble band who farmed the Phoenix Valley in Arizona land. Down the ditches 1,000 years, the water grew Irish people's crops till the white man stole their water rights and the sparkling water stopped. Now Irish folks were hungry and their land grew crops of weeds, but when war came, Ira volunteered and forgot the white man's greed. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. There they battled up Iwo Jima Hill, 250 men, but only 27 lived to come back down again. And when the fight was over and Old Glory raised, among the men who held it high was the Indian, Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Ira Hayes returned a hero. He was celebrated throughout the land. He was wined and speeched and honored. Everybody shook his hand. But he was just a Pima Indian. No water, no home, no chance. Back home, nobody cared what Ira had done, and when do the Indians dance? Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Then Ira started drinking hard. Jail was often his home. They'd let him raise the flag and lower it like you would throw a dog a bone. He died drunk early one morning, alone in the land he fought to save. 2 inches of water in a lonely ditch was a grave for Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Yeah, call him drunken Ira Hayes, but his land is just as dry, and his ghost is lying thirsty in the ditch where Ira died. There were a number of years there where people kept asking me why I wear black. Well, I've worn black pretty much ever since I've been in the music business, but I never did answer the reporters when they asked the question. Well, the answer is in the lyrics of this song. Well, you wonder why I always dress in black, why you never see bright colors on my back, and why does my appearance seem to have a somber tone? Well, there's a reason for the things that I have on. I wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, living in the hopeless, hungry side of town. I wear it for the prisoner who is long paid for his crime, but is there because he's a victim of the time. I wear the black for those who have never read or listened to the words that Jesus said about the road to happiness through love and charity. Why, you'd think he's talking straight to you and me. Well, we're doing mighty fine, I do suppose, in our streak of lightning cars and fancy clothes. But just so we're reminded of the ones who are held back, up front there ought to be a man in black. I wear it for the sick and lonely old, for the reckless ones whose bad trips left them cold. I wear the black in mourning for the lives that could have been. Each week we lose 100 fine young men. And yes, I wear it for the thousands who have died, believing that the Lord was on their side. And I wear it for another 100,000 who have died, believing that we all were on their side. Well, there's things that never will be right, I know, and things need changing everywhere you go. But till we start to make a move to make a few things right, you'll never see me wear a suit of white. Oh, I'd love to wear a rainbow every day and tell the world that everything's okay. But I'll try and carry off a little darkness on my back till things are brighter. I'm the man in black. Thank you. I'm going to do a patriotic thing for you now. You know, I don't think that June and I have ever been overseas and come back to this country and didn't love it more than when we left. You know, I thank God for all the freedoms that we have in this country. I cherish them. And this song is dedicated to all those who served, all those who fought to preserve those freedoms, and for anyone who considers themselves proud to be an American. I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, there was an old man sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Well, your old flagpole's leaned a little bit. That's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat." So I sat down. He said, "Is this your first time to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "Well, we don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag." You see, we got a hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night Francis Scott Key sat watching it right. Say, can you see? She got a big rip down in New Orleans with Peckinham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And she almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag that she waved on, though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville. She got cut again at Shallow Hill. There was Robert E. Lee and Beauregard and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam. But now, they've about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land here, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused, and the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. Now she is getting threadbare. She's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape that she's in. Because she has been through the fire before, and I do believe that she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning. We bring her down slow every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I am mighty proud of that ragged Old Flag. Thank you so much, and God bless America. Well, we got one more for you here, and we want to thank you so much for being out here with us today. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and be safe on your travels home, all right? Thank you so much. An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. On a ridge he rested as he went along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw come plowing through the ragged sky and up a cloudy draw. Their brands were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. Their horns were black and shiny, and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo. Riders in the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Dave Brown. As the riders loped on by him, he heard one call his name. If you want to save your soul from hell riding on that range, then cowboy, change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch that devil's herd across these endless skies. Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo. Ghost riders in the sky, ghost riders in the sky. Thank you all so much, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going for this amazing band. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all want one more? All right. Fantastic. Well, we'll do one more for you. Did you say Jackson? June ain't here. Sorry. That's next time I'll bring June. You talk to Michael about that. Next time I'll bring June. But we'll do one more for you. After that, I'll be over there hawking, selling some CDs. I only got a couple left, so just come up and say hello and let me know how you enjoyed the show. Let's hear it again for this amazing band behind me. This one here is a Hank Snow song. Well, I was toting my pack along a dusty Winnemucca road when along came a semi and a high-end canvas-covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca, Mac, with me you can ride. And so I climbed into the cab and then I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand, and I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed that mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe that mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Boston, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texarkana, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, Tallapoosa, Glen Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Oskaloosa, Tennessee, Hennessy, Chicopee, Spirit Lake, Grand Lake, Devil's Lake, Crater Lake, for Pete's sake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe that mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Louisville, Knoxville, Armabika, Shepherdsville, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bakersfield, Freeport, Hackensack, Cadillac, Fond du Lac, Davenport, Idaho, Jellicoe, Argentina, Diamantina, Pasadena, Catalina, see what I've been. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe that mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Gravelburg, Colorado, Ellensburg, Rexburg, Vicksburg, El Dorado, Larimore, Atmore, Haverstraw, Chattanooga, Chaska, Nebraska, Alaska, Oak, Pelican, Baraboo, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, Cedar City, Dodge City. What a pity. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. Breathe that mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Thank y'all so very much. Keep it going for this amazing band. We got Benny Cohen over here on the keys, Jackton Cola back there on the drums, Jeffrey Lake on the bass, Dave Brown on the guitar. Thank you so much.